Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at workout motivation and just what kind of impact regular exercise can have on your life. We got all sorts of articles here, personal stories, expert advice, even a story about a woman losing 90 pounds just by exercising 30 minutes every day. We're going to try to figure out just what it is that gets people moving, and we're going to look at all the benefits of making exercise a regular thing.
It's interesting how we're understanding motivation in a whole new way these days. It's not just about willpower, it's also about understanding the psychology behind habits and tackling those obstacles that make exercise feel impossible for some.
Yeah, that's a great point. Speaking of inspiring stories, we've got one here about a woman named Leah Mish. She completely changed her life just by committing to 30 minutes of exercise each day. This article from Gunderson Health System, it chronicles her whole journey. She started with this program called Minutes in Motion, and at first she couldn't even run a tenth of a mile without gasping for air.
Leah's story really shows how powerful your mindset can be. Her motto was, master your mind, don't let your mind master you. And that's what got her through those tough first steps. It really shows how important mental resilience is when you're trying to get fit. It's all about recognizing those negative thoughts, the ones that hold you back, and choosing to think positive thoughts instead.
You know, that's so true. It's so easy to let that inner critic get to you. But her story shows how much power you have if you change your thinking. And what's even more amazing is that she didn't start off with some crazy workout. She started small, consistent, manageable amounts of exercise. And over time, those small steps turned into big results. 90 pounds gone, finishing a half marathon, and just feeling so much better overall. It just shows that you don't have to change your whole life to see big changes.
I think Leah's experience really shows a key principle of how we build habits. Think of it like building blocks, these small, consistent actions. Done regularly, they build up over time, and they lead to really impressive changes. It's all about momentum, slowly making things a little harder as you go. In fact, there's this scientific idea called the habit loop. It's all about cues, routines, and rewards. For Leah, her cue might have been picking a specific time to work out. The routine was the 30 minutes of exercise, and the reward was how good she felt afterwards.
The habit loop. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. But let's be real for a second. Even with stories like Leah's, a lot of us still struggle with staying motivated. So why is that?
Well, that's a great question. It's important to understand that motivation comes and goes.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way. Old habits come back. And sometimes you just don't even know where to start. Let's look at some of the things that stop people from exercising regularly. This very well-fit article called 5 Reasons You Aren't Motivated to Exercise lists a few.
I've definitely had those times when I just can't get myself going. What are some of the biggest things that sabotage our workout plans?
I'd say one of the biggest is just not being familiar with exercise. If you didn't grow up exercising regularly, knowing where to begin can feel overwhelming, like trying to find your way in a new city without a map.
Oh, I totally get that. Feeling lost in the world of fitness. With so many options, it's easy to get intimidated. But what about people who know about exercise but still struggle to stick with it?
Well, our modern lives tend to push us towards being sedentary. We sit at desks for hours, then we go home and relax on the couch. It's easy to fall into a routine where exercise feels like a chore, not a normal part of life.
Ouch. You're describing my life perfectly. I am so guilty of falling into that trap. It's so easy to put other things first, especially when you don't see the bad effects of skipping workouts right away.
That's another big barrier, thinking of exercise as a luxury, something you'll do when you have time, instead of seeing it as something you need to be healthy.
Yeah, it's easy to put exercise on the back burner when you don't see the consequences right away. But this very well-fit article, it also points out what happens when you don't make exercise a priority. And it's not just about gaining a few pounds, is it?
No, not at all. Not exercising enough has been linked to some serious health problems, like high blood pressure and problems with how your body uses insulin. And you also have to think about muscle atrophy. That's when your muscles get weaker and smaller, which makes everyday things harder to do.
Wow, I hadn't thought about it that way. It's easy to get caught up in being busy and forget about those long-term consequences. But it sounds like we're really doing ourselves a disservice if we don't make movement a priority.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical health. Regular exercise is really important for your mental health, too. Studies have shown that it can help with anxiety and depression, so neglecting your physical health can really hurt your emotional health, too.
So it sounds like exercise is a key part of a healthy and balanced life. But how do we break through those barriers that are keeping us from getting started? Let's talk about some practical solutions.
The good news is you don't have to just give up and live a life where you never move. Both the Very Well Fit and Greatest articles have tons of practical tips to help you get over those motivation humps. Some of them might even surprise you.
Okay, I'm ready. Give me the most unexpected advice you found. What really jumped out at you?
Well, one tip that people always seem surprised by is sleeping in your workout clothes.
Wait, really? I mean, I get wanting to be ready, but wouldn't that be uncomfortable and kind of weird?
Yeah, I know it sounds strange, but think about it. It's one less thing to do in the morning, which makes it that much harder to hit snooze and skip your workout. You're already dressed and ready to go.
Okay, you know what? I'm always down to try new things, especially if it helps me get moving. So I might just try that. What other unusual advice did you find?
Another good one is the 10-minute rule. Set a timer for just 10 minutes and do any kind of movement you want.
10 minutes. That barely feels like a warm-up.
I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's all about tricking your brain, making it think getting started is no big deal. And here's the thing. Once you've moved for those 10 minutes, you'll usually find that you actually feel energized and you want to keep going. It's like jump-starting your workout.
That's pretty clever. I like how it focuses on starting small. It takes away that feeling of being overwhelmed. What else really stood out to you?
The Greatest article talks about making exercise fun by joining a sports league. It's a great way to get active without it feeling like a chore.
Ooh, I love that idea. I used to play volleyball in a rec league, and it was so much fun. The social aspect made it so much more enjoyable, and the competition really got me going.
Exactly. It plays into our natural desire to connect and have fun, and that makes exercise feel more positive and rewarding, and there are so many options out there. Soccer, basketball, pickleball. You're bound to find something you like.
I love that. It's all about finding things that are actually fun. And speaking of fun, this Healthline article, 32 Ways to Motivate Yourself to Work Out. It has so many different tips for all sorts of workout styles and preferences. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for getting motivated.
It really does cover everything. For people who like to be organized, it suggests putting your workouts in your calendar. Just like you would any other important appointment, it helps you stay accountable and make sure exercise actually happens.
You know, I totally believe in the power of planning. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. What other strategies did they talk about?
For people who like to multitask, they suggest listening to podcasts while you work out. It's a great way to learn something new, or catch up on your favorite shows, or just enjoy being entertained while you move.
Oh, podcasts are my thing. I love listening to them while I run. It makes the time go by so much faster, and I feel like I'm getting two things done at once. It's a great way to make those longer workouts more enjoyable.
Exactly. And for people who like to work out at home, the article says to create a dedicated workout space. It helps you avoid distractions, and it signals to your brain that it's time to focus on fitness.
That's a great tip. I found that having the specific place to work out helps me get in the right mindset and stay committed to my routine. It's like creating a little sanctuary for movement. Did any other tips really resonate with you?
One that I thought was really helpful was finding a workout buddy. Having someone to share your fitness journey with can really help you stay accountable and supported. You can encourage each other, celebrate wins, and help each other stay on track when motivation is low.
I couldn't agree more. Having a workout buddy is like having a personal cheerleader, someone who gets what you're going through and is there to support you every step of the way. Plus, it makes those workouts so much more fun.
That's the key. Finding what works for you and making exercise a happy part of your life, something you can keep doing. And sometimes that means getting inspired by other people who have achieved amazing things.
Speaking of inspiration, I'd love to hear more about those health documentaries you mentioned, the ones that show how resilient people can be and how transformative movement can be.
Oh, yeah. One that I found really moving is called The Dawn Wall. It follows this amazing free climber named Tommy Caldwell. He climbed this 3,000-foot wall called the Dawn Wall. It's on El Capitan.
Whoa, 3,000 feet? That's insane. I get scared just thinking about heights like that. What made him want to do something so crazy?
The documentary goes into his passion for climbing and all the years of hard work and training it took for him to achieve something that seemed impossible. It's a really powerful story about setting big goals and pushing yourself beyond what you think you can do. He had so many setbacks along the way, but he never gave up on himself or his vision.
That's incredible. His story reminds us that we're all capable of so much more than we think. It's all about finding that inner strength.
Exactly. And while we might not all be climbing massive cliffs, there's a lesson there for everyone. We have the power to overcome anything and achieve our dreams, no matter how big or small. It's about taking that first step, embracing the challenges, and never giving up on yourself.
That's such a powerful message. So we've talked about the amazing benefits of exercise, the things that stop us from doing it, and the inspiring stories of people who have changed their lives through movement. But let's get practical for a second. What are some specific things our listeners can do to make exercise a regular part of their lives?
The Healthline article has some great ideas for adding movement into your day. One simple but effective tip is to just move more during your daily activities. Take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk or bike to work if you can. Even small changes like that can add up and make you more active overall.
It's all about those little victories, right? I recently started parking farther away from the grocery store. And you know what? It's actually made a difference. I'm getting more steps. And I always get the best parking spot. Win-win.
Exactly. It's those small, consistent changes that turn into habits. Another good tip from the Healthline article is to set realistic goals. Don't try to do too much too soon. Start with something you can manage, something that feels doable. And then gradually make your workouts harder and longer as you get stronger and build up your endurance.
That's so important. I think a lot of people give up because they set these huge goals.
Yeah.
And then they feel bad when they don't see results right away. We need to set ourselves up for success.
Absolutely. And don't forget to celebrate those small wins along the way. Did you walk for 15 minutes today instead of 10? That's awesome. Did you choose a salad over fries for lunch? High five.
Right.
Recognizing your progress, no matter how small, makes you want to keep going.
I love that. Positive reinforcement is key. And like we talked about before, it's so important to make exercise enjoyable. If you hate your workouts, you're not going to stick with them. Find something that you actually like doing, whether it's dancing, swimming, hiking, rock climbing.
Well, the greatest article really emphasizes that. Choosing activities that you're interested in. If you're forcing yourself to do something you hate, it becomes a chore, not something you enjoy. Try different things until you find something that clicks, something that makes you excited to move your body.
Variety is the spice of life. And it's definitely the spice of fitness. Speaking of spice, I think we should talk about nutrition. You can't outrun a bad diet, right?
You're absolutely right. The Healthline article has some good tips for healthy eating. It goes hand in hand with exercise. It's all about taking care of your body from the inside out. One suggestion is to pick one day a week and do all your meal prep.
Okay, I have to admit, meal prepping always feels so overwhelming to me, but I know it's really important for healthy eating.
I know it can seem like a lot, but it's so worth it. When you have healthy meals ready to go, you're less likely to grab something unhealthy. When you're short on time or energy, it's all about setting yourself up for success.
You know what? You've convinced me. Meal prepping, here I come. What other advice about food do they have?
Instead of trying to cut out all your favorite foods, which can make you feel deprived and then you end up going back to them, focus on adding healthy foods to your diet. More fruits, vegetables, lean protein. Think of it as crowding out the less healthy stuff with nutritious and delicious food.
I like that. It's a much better approach than going on some crazy diet. It's about making healthy changes that become part of your life, not just a temporary thing.
Exactly. It's about creating a healthy relationship with food. That helps you feel your best.
I really appreciate this holistic way of thinking about health and wellness. It's not just about going to the gym. It's about taking care of your body and mind in lots of different ways. Eating good food, getting enough sleep, managing stress, finding activities that make you happy. It's all connected, isn't it?
You got it. We need to remember that our physical, mental, and emotional health are all linked. Speaking of being connected, one of those health documentaries, Resurface, shows this idea really well. It's about how surfing can help veterans with PTSD.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I always feel so calm and relaxed when I'm in nature. But I can only imagine how much surfing could help people who are dealing with trauma.
The documentary shows how the physical and mental challenge of surfing, combined with the healing power of the ocean, can help people process trauma, manage their emotions, and find peace and connection. It really shows the power of movement and how important it is to find healthy ways to deal with difficult experiences.
It's a good reminder that movement can be really healing, and that doing things we love can make us feel better in so many ways. It brings us back to that idea of finding something you truly enjoy. If surfing can have such a big impact, imagine what's possible for all of us when we find things that make us feel alive.
That's a beautiful thought, and I think that's a perfect way to transition to our final thoughts on this deep dive.
Definitely. What's the main thing you want our listeners to take away from this exploration of motivation and exercise?
You know, at the end of the day, I think the biggest takeaway is that movement is a gift. It's something you give to yourself. It's self-care, a way to celebrate everything your body can do. So really think about what makes you want to move. What are your goals? What's getting in your way? And most importantly, what brings you joy?
You know, that's so true. It's not about trying to be like someone else or following some cookie-cutter workout plan. It's about finding what works for you, what makes you feel good.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's finding a workout buddy, joining a fitness class, or getting advice from a trainer, having support can make a huge difference.
Totally agree. You don't have to go through this alone. And remember, even small steps can lead to amazing things over time. This quote from the Gunderson Health System article really stuck with me. It's from William Strong. He said, "The only time you fail is the last time you try."
Wow, that's powerful. It's not about being perfect. It's about enjoying the process, learning from when things don't go your way, and getting back up when you fall. It's that persistence that leads to real change. So true. And if you're ever feeling unmotivated, remember what Raphael Conforti said in the greatest article. He said, if you have a big enough why, you can endure almost anyhow. Find your purpose, your reason for moving your body, and for taking care of your health. Connect with that and let it fuel you.
That's a perfect way to put it. Find your why, embrace the ups and downs, and never underestimate how amazing movement can be. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into this fascinating world of workout motivation and exercise. We've covered so much today, from the science behind habits to the things that hold us back, and the stories of people who have changed their lives through movement.
I hope this deep dive has given you some helpful information, some practical tips, and a fresh dose of inspiration to make movement a happy and regular part of your life.
Remember, it's not about being the fastest, strongest, or most flexible. It's about appreciating your body, celebrating what it can do, and finding activities that make you feel truly alive. So get out there, explore, experiment, and most importantly, have fun. Until next time, keep diving deep.